Everybody, welcome back to 3-Day Weekend. I'm Chris. This is Floyd. We have Floyd back on the lift because we are going to be doing some bearings today. That is all bad. Well, let's get started. So you'll notice I already have some stuff taken apart. That's because I have to do brakes as well. Check out another video for that. And you don't need to have it on a lift. We have a lift so it's easier, but you can just do it if you jack it up in the rear. So first thing we're doing, get the wheel off, take the caliper off. That's held on by two 15mm bolts right there. And now you are up to speed. Next step is to pull the hub off. So we're just going to pull this cotter pin out and take off the axle nut. And then the axle nut, that is 27mm on this machine. Account for 2 washers on the back of these. Depending on the year, it might have one thicker one, or if it's been replaced or something. But this one has 2 smaller ones. If you're lucky, at this point, this will just pull off. I'm rarely that lucky. This is really stubborn. I've never had one stuck on right here. Normally it's just the axle. You pop that through and it comes right off. I'm gonna hit this with some Dr. Pibb and let it sit a minute while I work on the other side. I cannot get this off of here, which means it's seized up inside. So rather than fight it anymore, I'm just going to take the whole hub assembly off, which are these 2 bolts, 15mm, 15mm. They slide out and the whole thing will come off. And then I can soak the backside in PB Blaster and it should free things up. Here's what I got. I just took the whole knuckle off because I couldn't get these raceways. So here's one I didn't work on yet. This whole inner collar has to come off. See how I've got it pushed down here? So I was making progress. The problem is I'm beating on the back of this rotor, which is the braking surface. I really didn't want to chew that up that bad, you know, because that'll affect braking and premature pad wear, etc., etc. So I've got them sitting upside down. We're gonna let these guys soak for a bit in some PB Blaster, and then they should come out. If they can't, I'll just have to drive them out with a socket or something in the vise. We'll see. I'm gonna let those sit for a couple hours, go do something else, and when we come back, we'll see if they come out. Front hubs come off a bit differently. We still gotta take this off, which should come off easily, hopefully. And once we get all that off, then we'll just disconnect the tie rod, upper and lower ball joints. So first thing, same as the rear, pull out your cotter pin, take off your 27mm castle nut. Next up, tie rod, pull out your cotter pin, 15mm, take that one out. All right, now that this is out, same thing as the castle nut. Put your nut on first before you start pounding it to drive it up and out. Otherwise you mess up your threads. Now we have to do upper lower ball joints. Start with the lower, pull the cotter pin out, That's a 17 millimeter. I highly recommend you spray this down first with PB Blaster so it comes out nice and smooth, and hit it with some sort of an impact, even a small one, so that it zip, comes right out. There is no way to hold this from spinning other than just the pressure fit in the knuckle itself. So that's why you want to start with this one, zip it out as quick as you can. Alright, I hit that with the impact, she came right off. I'm lucky. If you don't, you gotta find a way to hold it. It's awful. There's nothing you can really do to avoid it once it starts spinning. And next, and lastly I should say, the upper ball joint. Before we start beating the living daylights out of this thing with hammers. Okay, everything is out. Now we just need to get it out. The lower A-arm has to go up to come out of there, but the upper has to go down. Now I'll leave this up to you. Sometimes you get some resistance because your sway bar is trying to hold everything. But sometimes it's loose enough, you can give her a few whacks with a hammer and it comes right out. They're all gonna matter on how long ago it was taken apart last. Once that's out, a few hits down, will eventually break that loose. It did start. I'm really having an awful time breaking this loose. So plan is I'm gonna hit it on the top so that it's going straight down, and then I've got the wood all the way stacked up to hold that lower A-arm so that it cannot move at all, and that should give me a little more force. Hopefully just enough force to pop that one out of there. It is stubborn. It's still not moving. So I had to do it, even though it's probably gonna give me issues later. I just sprayed this with PB Blaster, top and bottom. And then we'll see if that'll help. Running out of ideas. So rather than fight it later on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the cotter pin out and take the bolt off the bottom. And then it'll be ready. I'll just pre-spray it. I don't remember this coming out so hard last time. I have exhausted all of my ideas. I even tried heating it. Not crazy hot, but you know, the best I could. It's a rubber boot in there. I don't want to destroy it. So, I don't know. I'm going to just take this whole A-arm off completely and then maybe throw it on the press and I'll be able to pull it out that way, I guess. I don't know. 2 bolts up there and a sway bar link. Take off that A-arm. I'm gonna maybe see if I can get this whole thing out without even taking the lower ball joint out, maybe? Step 1, gotta remove this snap ring. Like so. Custom tool. Filed some needle nose down into a point. Best tool I've ever made. It's easier than any other snap ring pliers I've ever tried. Step 2 is we throw this in the press. See if we can push it out that way. I got it. And I got the snap ring back in. That is a royal pain in the neck with the A-arm still attached, but doable. So, I guess next time I just won't take that off. I can't believe it's stuck in there so bad. I was gonna press it out, but I was worried the press was gonna crush it where the holes go through for the cotter pin. But ended up not needing to do it. So, good, I guess. Alright, well I'm gonna repeat the exact same procedure on the other side and then put it all back together. Don't forget at this moment, where you put the rotor and stuff back on, to grease those bearings. Otherwise we'll be back in here doing the same thing. I'm using, who makes it? Lucas? Red and Tacky it's called. People are going to tell me that's wrong, people are going to say it's right. Whatever you use, put something in there and get that going. Since I've been using Red and Tacky, I have not had to re-grease or replace a single bearing. And a lot of them brand new take 15 to 20 pumps to get them full. You see it's just starting to come out. Okay, and from here, just a matter of putting your brakes back on. Check another video and I am doing that. And you'll notice there's no more clunking up and down. You probably can't hear it, but this side is perfectly quiet. That side is still making a ton of racket. Alright, I'm going to put the other side together. Did you catch my mistake? Because I almost didn't. This is why I always put the bolts in a pan or on that arm. Because I put this cotter pin in, but there's no bolt. That could have been bad. I mean, I've been sitting here pounding on it for how long, and I wasn't able to get it out, but still, what's to say it couldn't pop out later. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the bolt in here, you know, so the wheel doesn't fall off at high speed. Alright, front is all back together. Just need to put the brakes on, but that's in another video. So now I'm going to turn my attention back to the rear, which have been soaking for a while. Let's see if they'll come apart now. Okay, got her in a vise. Oh, that bearing is bad too. See that? The more you work on these things, the more is wrong. Put a cloth in there so I don't tear up the braking surface. Now I'm just going to try to pound this part off of this part. I'm getting pretty tired of this. Good news is it came out. Bad news is the race is still on the dang thing. So I gotta get the race off. It's just in far enough where I can't get a grip on it to turn it once I take the rotor off. So I'll take the rotor off, grab my pipe wrench or something, grab onto it, turn it off. Oh my gosh. Well, at least that part came out in pieces, but it's out. I'll get the other one, see if it does the same thing. Exact same thing on this one. Race is still on there. I hope I can turn that off. I really don't want to cut it. But that's plan, what am I up to? F, G? I don't know. I got him! Uh-huh. I didn't even have to cut all the way through. And I got the hammer and a screwdriver and broke the rest up. Look at that. Didn't even leave a mark on that one. Slight mark on the other side. Nothing. Nothing. That is pretty good. Alright, I'm going to put these brakes back on and then press out those bearings, which was the whole objective. I kind of forgot what I was even doing. It's been so long. Same with the front. We got a couple of snap rings in here I gotta get. Jeez. That. Okay, that worked. Jeez, it's like all or nothing with those darn cans. I got them. Whew. All right, next up, I'm gonna grease them and get them back in the machine. Now it's time to put them back on the machine. They are directional, so make sure you don't put the wrong one on. If you were to attach that one, the wheel will be pointing way back. But this one is just right. Took a little bit of coaxing, but I got it. You gotta line the axle up with the splines and the hub, and you can kind of feel when you have that, and then kind of get everything to go in centered into the bearing, and then it'll start going. And then I tapped on it with a hammer, and the axle wasn't quite out far enough, so I took a socket, kind of hit around that edge, and the axle just started to poke out, so I could grab it with the nut, and the nut will pull it into place. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. We did it. So that is a bearing job, front and rear, on a 2019 Polaris Ace 570. All the Aces, some scramblers. They're pretty similar, if not the same. Really appreciate you watching. If you wouldn't mind, you think I earned it, give me a thumbs up. Oh my goodness. I'm dirty. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to click over here, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time on 3-Day Weekend. Take care.